yes movement. So people were able to see the yes movement on it, which was fantastic.
Oh, no. Thanks a lot, Deputy President. I wish I could have been there. Myself and the spokesperson, we're having little challenges because we're trying to settle the movement in the central Johannesburg before end of next month. And that also calls for me to run for safety now.
So are you going to update us on what happened to you?
Yes, I'm going to speak about it today because the power of the people was there.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Okay. Please, while you share the Zoom link into all the groups as you say, and then on our site, I will propose that we start with the meeting because we set exactly 10. Tell me when you are ready on your site, so that we can move.
Okay, I'm ready my side.
Okay. Greetings, everyone, and good evening, leaders and compatriots. I will kindly ask all of you to mute your mics so that your echo or whatever that is happening on your side, it should not affect the communication. Thank you. I'm General Tekiso, the co-host, and the host, Emmanuel Paladi, the national spokesperson of the Yes Movement, and Comrade Catherine, Aus Grace from Limpopo, Mr. or Ms. Doit, Lillian, Mia, Olabucheng, Elias, oh, I'm trying to capture your name, but I'll call you tomorrow morning. Kaele, all of you guys, you are welcome in the meeting that was actually scheduled for tonight for right reasons of ensuring that we share a lot of information on a number of issues, particularly the purpose of this meeting is unpacking the appointment of the CJ interviews and the common law. So I will not be dwelling much into the topic of today, but however, I will touch it so that everyone can be clear with the issues around it. But first, I would like to start by explaining that today, in the morning at around 6 o'clock, the guys from the Hawks arrived in my house, and then when they arrived, they said, Sir, Mr. Tekiso, we want your phone and we want to take you and arrest you. And I asked for what? They said the charge that is against you is the charge of inserting the people against the state. Then I asked, what did I insert? They said, you posted on social media that people must disobey the president. And I said, oh, okay. They said, but we're not in the liberty to discuss this matter with you. The only person you'll talk to is the magistrate. Bring your hands. And I said, I'm not gonna bring my hands because I own my hands, my freedom. So if I were to put my hands on inside those things that you call handcuffs, do you simply say my rights are being taken off being human, and then I have to now surrender to your laws and your rules and your operations that are ungodly and unfair? And then the police officers, they said, okay, hey, you are stubborn. I said, no, I'm not stubborn. I just speak my rights. And then they then took me in. I said, okay, we can go then freely. I said, I will go freely, and then I left with them. When I left with them, they said, they want to close me in a cell. I said, I was born with freedom. Take me to court because I have freedom. my freedom of movement. I was born with the freedom of movement, and no other person in this country is going to take the right or the freedom that I have, because I haven't killed anyone, I haven't done anything, and you are charging me with an opinion, a freedom of speech, that I am now telling the police that you are now arresting me with my own freedom of speech, that I have the right to say anything that I want as long as I feel it is right, and it was right. If you were to then provide me with answers or into questions, the 5 questions that I have, then you are going to put me in that cell. I'm not going to argue with you. And then I said to them, my rights that I was born with are more superior than your rights that you want to exercise over me. I am human and I have my sovereignty and my own rights that I am exercising. So I am not going to actually go in there. Even if you were to take me kick and screaming, one of us must lose his eyes and his eyes, and he must lose them right here and right now, unless you are taking me to court. And you are not taking me to the cells. I want to go to the court. You're taking me to court, I will have to appear before the magistrate. Now, it was now 7 o'clock when we arrived to that site in court. It was around 7 o'clock. We started arguing until even the station commander was then called. He was then brought. I asked him those questions. He said, ask me those questions. I said, I will ask you these questions because I feel that somewhere, somehow, you have to know my rights, and I have to ask you this question so that my rights are not trampled by your own rights or your own laws. I then produced my emancipation papers for the first time since I got arrested from here at home. And my phone, we started fighting for my phone. I said, my phone, my right, protected by my right, is in my possession. There's only one person who can remove this phone from my possession. It's me, because I bought it, is mine. You must show me evidence that you have against me, and you must stop wanting my phone so that you can concoct your own evidence. I said, you touch my phone, is in my pocket, you touch me. It's either when my phone breaks, also your neck will be breaked, or even the 3 of you, your necks are going to be broken, because why? You are trampling on my rights as an independent citizen, and I deserve to be treated with respect. Then the questions that I asked the station commander was one, is the South African government independent and not privately run? If you can tell me that, explain what is RSA incorporation. And he started explaining. The people, government said, no, keep quiet, because you are trying to explain for the past 2 seconds, but you couldn't even utter a single word of actually admitting or saying anything. So the second question that I was supposed to ask you, I'll ask them for convenience, and answering you to assist you so that you understand that I have rights. As much as you would want to now oppress me, take my rights away from me, because what you are doing, you are simply now taking my rights away from me, and I retain that it is my own rights. I said to one, I served you, the government, with papers, including the magistrate, and the person who is relevant that I'm going to speak to is the magistrate, because I served him with papers. These are the papers. Do you understand what is this paper? You couldn't even understand that. These are the emancipation papers. And lucky enough, when I started this process of emancipation, I never thought it could work in this wonder. There's a time when you need it really, when more especially when you're disagreeing with this government, you're then being advised to emancipate yourself from that system, because you can't be against the system. And then I remembered exactly when Elias, myself and him, we were talking, and he was educating me a lot about emancipation and all that. And one of the things that he taught me when he was speaking to me, he said, never surrender your rights to anyone. I then picked that up very quickly and I started applying my mind that, okay, I'm not going to surrender easily. These people, before they can kill me, I mustn't give up very quickly. And I asked him a question. Why did you arrest me? The station commander. He said there's an allegation. He explained the issue of civil disobedience. Why I started this thing by calling for a national civil disobedience. And I said, where is my right in the Constitution? That actually explains that I do not have any right to speak out anything that I feel it is important to me, or it affects me directly or indirectly. I then asked him a second question. I said, you do not have the power of the attorney over my life at this present moment. When you do not have the power of the attorney, he said, no, I am the police commissioner. I have the right to detain you. No, you don't have those rights because I informed your court. I informed you guys. I informed the state that they do not have the power. He said, no, I don't know that. And I said, I paged now the document. I went through all these chapters that are there on this emancipation papers, and I then showed this person that, do you now disagree that I've sent these people, all of them, I've even put my own, with a red pen, I've put my own fingerprint to declare myself independent. Am I not having a right to choose the government of my choice? Am I not having that right in your own constitution that you work with? Do I not have the right to choose? He said, you do have the right. So I chose not to choose you. It is my right because I chose not to choose you. Then he couldn't even sustain, the argument couldn't sustain with me and him. He then said, you know what, I think you guys need to take this man to court. The first magistrate who arrives at 8 needs to attend to this case very urgently because this person is going to give us a serious problem. Then around 8 o'clock, then arrived at court because we were packed then outside the police station. I refused to even go inside or do anything in the cells. I said, I'm sitting here in the car, I'm not going inside there because they were going to use maximum force against me. Then I said, you know what, my right is more important than these people's rights because their rights, they are exercising them wrong and against the wrong person. So I really can't go inside there. I then striked and then put my face on the table and said, enough is enough. I'm not going to go inside there. Then when I appeared before the magistrate, the first thing that I asked the magistrate was, I am General Tekiso. And then he said the prosecutor said, no, sit down. And the police officer, I said, no, I can't sit down. You guys are having me against my will and my own right. The court where I am doesn't have the jurisdiction over my life because I'm an emancipated person. I subscribe. I chose not to choose your laws. I chose to choose the natural law, which is the superior law than the Roman Dutch law in which you are subscribing to. And in my own life, it is my choice. I chose to live as an independent person. And when I speak because God never gave a filter in my mouth. I have the right to speak. They then kept quiet. The magistrate said, okay, it's fine. And he said, say you can speak. I said, well, but I've introduced myself because I respect you and I can't, as it is, I refused from the onset to even enter their box. I stand in the door and I said, I'm not going to go in that box because that box, that cage, it is actually taking my rights away. I have to protect my rights, my dignity, because I'm arrested for disobeying the government or saying anything against the government. Now, I am going to disobey these people. And I'm not going to disobey them because people have to be disobeyed. No, I have to disobey them because I have the right as an independent person, and I know what I said. I said in the good interest of our people. I never said it to benefit me individually or any other person. Then the first point that the magistrate then introduced himself, and after he introduced himself, and then he said, I said, now I want to talk to you because I see each and everyone, when they look at you, they bow their head because you are a senior in this room. You are a senior, you are a God in this room. He said, stop disrespecting the court. I will get you arrested. And then I said, no, you can't get me arrested. You can't arrest me because I'm already arrested and being brought here against my will. And now I am exercising my democratic right. And the first right that I have is right to live life, right to choose, right to answer, and right to answer questions. I can't always have to come here and then now I'm a puppet. I have to receive questions and I have to give answers. My right and my freedom of speaking to anyone at any time, anything, it has been taken away. I can't allow that to happen anymore. Not that I'm going to protect the last dignity that I have as a South African citizen. Number one, they call you your worship. You are representing the crowd because you're wearing black, which belongs to the devil, and red, which belongs to the crowd. Your law is the law of the sea. My law that I chose is the law of the land. And everywhere, because the law that I chose is the superior law than all the laws that you can find in the world. And I am challenging this court today that I have served this court with papers that I do not belong to your jurisdiction or to your law anymore. I subscribe to a different law, but your court opted to ignore me. They chose to ignore my letter, as their leaders are doing in the army, in parliament, everywhere. They ignoring you when they have to answer your letters or anything that you are doing, because they are not caring about the people. He said, but I don't know, how do I confirm what you are saying? I haven't gave him the docs. I'm still holding my permit to live, to life, the permit, the paper that actually grants me the permission to breathe without being told I must sit where or live where before I can breathe. And then what then happened is I was then asked by this magistrate if I can provide any evidence that will assist his court to do that. But I said, okay, I'll provide you with evidence, which is documentary evidence, because I believe your court works with documentary evidence. I gave him the documents. When I gave him the documents, I said, are you ready to take? I asked him, can I ask my question if you are ready? He said, I am not ready. Wait a little. Tell him to wait. He says that to me. I said, okay, let me keep quiet. This man doesn't understand who he's dealing with. He's dealing with a big problem. He then appointed me. He said, sir, and I said, I started speaking my own language. And then he said, how do I know that these papers are right? I said, first thing I need you to do for me is go to page one. Page one of those documents, it is the post office stamps. All those stamps in the post office are called return of service. And in terms of the law, the postal law actually declares that the post office is the only legitimate person, postmaster, who can deliver letters that are authentic. And he couldn't even believe that I understand even my rights and the rights of the post office. He said, yeah, but you say you don't agree with he wants to make jokes, the law of the republic, but you want, I said, no. When post office was adopted and endorsed, post office was a product that was designed by the ZRA, the Boere folks. When they arrived in this country, they work hand to hand with the people. They built all these things because post office comes a long way before even most of the things happened in this country. And I said, so I respect what the postmaster has done there, because it shows that it arrived in this court on this date. And when it arrived in this court, it was then received by who. I could tell him each and everything that I have on the papers. And then the magistrate said, turned his back and he said, I need to make a call. Can this court agenda will come back in 5 minutes? And then when he came back in 5 minutes, he said, Sir Tekiso, I'm going to release you at my discretion because I believe what you are saying, it is true. He wants to make me now a bad person. I said, no. Don't say you are releasing me at my discretion, because I'm not at liberty of this place where I am. Because the first thing is the jurisdiction. I need you and me and you to speak about the jurisdiction, because I know when you say you're postponing this matter, you want me now to take liberty, to take a blame and feel that I'm at liberty of this place. I didn't ask to be here, unless if I was summoned by my king, or I have summoned myself, or Koro has summoned me to appear before Koro, then I would have respected that, because it comes from the superior law, which is actually from the natural law. He then kept quiet and he said, you're free to go home. Come to the clerk of the court on the 10th and get the documents related to your case. And then you can go, you're free to go home. I then said, I have to then leave, because the court said I must leave. They wanted, the police officer said, no, I must go out through this door. I said, you don't play that game with me. You said I will speak to the magistrate. I just spoken to the magistrate. You were not there. The magistrate told me. He said that to me. I must go. You are telling me now I must use this door, not that door. You now must want to take and finish all my rights. No, we have to release you on the books. I've never entered myself in those books, so they'll see how they get themselves removed. I am out, and I left the place just like that. I know it's a long story. Any question?
General,
Everyone?
this is
Yes,
very encouraging. This is very encouraging. You know, we always hear about emancipation, and you know, having it practically, it's very encouraging. I'm just, you know, I'm without words. You know, if ever these documents can do this for us in terms of our rights, you know, in terms of what the banks are doing to us daily, they are double.
yes.
When you have defaulted on your payments, they are getting money for, you know, from the insurance because of the loan is insured. And at the same time, they sell the debt to a third party and they give you a runaround. You know, if ever we can get this thing going, you know, and give these people a runaround as well. I'm just so happy, you know, you are my hero today.
General,
thank you. Yes,
General, I'm just
Auntie
wondering.
Lillian, and then after you, Auntie Lillian, is Brother Elias.
I'm just wondering if we can put into point form what you did to help people to understand the power of becoming emancipated, because that's at the heart of what we do. Is with the referendum, we are wanting people to become emancipated, and it shows them the power of that and that it's worthwhile them doing it. So I really think it would be something that we can put in bullet form for people to say, this is what it can do for you. Yes.
Let me quickly respond to that, Auntie Lillian and the team, because it's something that I was working on now. I've took a decision that one way or the other, I need to make a video and upload it on our website, including on YouTube and other platforms, to educate our people. Because what I'm also planning to do is to set up a mini studio around Joburg, because what we are doing is more of activism, and activists do not have time to sit down behind their laptops and do certain work. So we then need to set up a studio, get a little team of a lot of team of social media guys who are on the ground capturing real things that are happening, sharing them. I was going to discuss that in the NEC meeting of the Yes Movement, where I was going to propose that we work on something like that. Because yesterday I was speaking to one guy who is a producer for some local movies. He also said he wants to meet with BT so that he can help with his cameras when we have meetings, and also go and do the special educational videos so that we can start being proactive on social media. I think that answers quite a number of questions. Comrade Elias, Brother Elias. Brother Elias.
Ellis?
His microphone
Brother
is not speaking. Whilst we wait for him, let me just say, wow, General, you had.
O's Grace is there. O's Grace is there.
Oh, okay. She had her hand up. Okay, right.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yes,
Yes.
Elias, I can hear you,
Yes,
brother.
Ellis, we can
Okay.
hear you.
All right, thank you. That was these headphones, these new ones, a bit too technical for me. Okay, the first question to General was, well, first and foremost, congratulations. The first question: in which courthouse it was that you approached? I did send you information that I sent my documentation to on Saturday, but I sent it to an additional department of the RSA Corporation, which is the Department of Home Affairs, because I went now this week to them. And they have no idea what's going on, because when I asked them why is my name in capital letters, they couldn't explain to me. Now, I like the idea that you're talking about creating a video. Now, I have been doing a lot of writing down of David Strait, making little notes of what he says you need to say in the courts of the law of the sea. Okay, you have to be very specific of your words. And it's also very important that people must understand words mean everything. What you might perceive to be an interpretation, they have their own interpretation. Because I'm busy listening now to Kurt Kallenbach. I think he's from America or Canada. And because I've been through a few of these people. So what you did was brilliant. The police in Brits Northwest refused point blank to tell the station commander that I want to have a meeting with them, because that's another aspect that we need to do, is also inform the police that you are not a policeman. You are a law enforcer for a private corporation, and that you have no jurisdiction over we the people. And also that they understand that the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa is a corporate charter, not a sovereign South African Republic constitution. So I just wanted to put the points in there.
Remember, their argument, it will always be on the registration, because if we all understand that South Africa is registered twice, it's registered with the security exchange in UK, and also it is also registered as a sovereign state in London under the crown. That is why your magistrates, they are still strapping black and red, while their masters are strapping black and white. That is why the colonial mentality that actually promotes the black and white thing, so that people can start hating themselves and then developing self-hate because of the difference of the color. But you need to understand the importance of that. And thanks, Comrade Elias, because really I was in the court jurisdiction here. I was then taken to Potchefstroom, is the division of the regional court, yes, in Potchefstroom, which I was supposed to have appeared in this court because it doesn't have the jurisdiction. The regional court in Ventersdorp, I was then taken to Potchefstroom regional court. Yeah, any other question? I'm not going to talk much because I'm already feeling that my fever is killing me.
Okay, if I can just add on to the point there. The fact that you are, okay, I want to ask you, did the magistrate actually tell you when you asked him under which jurisdiction are you operating? Did he actually give an answer or did he try to avoid answering your question?
No, I did actually give him the answer. I said, you are subscribing to the law of the sea. I am subscribing to the law of the land, which is the senior law than the law that you are subscribing to. And my jurisdiction is within my tribe.
Okay, but what was his response to it?
The magistrate avoided most of my questions because remember, it was no longer a matter of talking. We were not at peace with the magistrate because I came in court already stipulating the jurisdiction, querying the jurisdiction of being there because I was now opting for my rights as a person and that creating my own defense. Because if I became lenient and showing fear, the court is not going to listen to preachers. They will postpone you in custody because you are a preacher. They want people who are factual, but I wanted to answer something that is very important that you actually have raised, particularly the issue of the government recognizing the emancipation and all that. I think my brother Thomas has actually mentioned it that we are going to have a march very soon to the Constitutional Court. It's not a march, it's the peace walk because we are peaceful people. We have to walk peacefully to the Constitutional Court to demand that our orders must be stamped. I believe that in one of the orders that are going to be taken to the Constitutional Court are specifically going to be related to recognition, the full recognition of our laws, of our independence. So one of it, I believe, is going to be just like that. So not knowing if it will be different, but I'm hoping that it should be like that. And then as for other departments and government departments, I think it is time that we release the draft of our charter, the People's Charter, because we are for the people, the sovereign people of this country. So we must draft our charter that actually is going to answer a number of issues and then interpreting most of the reasons why we need to get ourselves emancipated agency so that it can be, you see, I'm one person. When I work with the community, I feel like feeding them with a lot of information so that they can be in the position to defend themselves. So at this moment, in the pace that we are moving in a little bit skewed direction in which we don't prioritize important things like this one particularly. This is very important because you can't want to go and eat the whole fish without first sitting down and removing the bones and putting them aside. So what I am trying to simply say is that we need to approach these people, start setting up meetings. When we want a meeting with the military and what, instead of we have to actually focus on wanting a meeting with the Chief Justice, the minister, the department, including the government. Go and present ourselves there. And why are we there? Why must we run around behind closed doors? It is going to be important to approach them. Once we approach them, including this government that we do not recognize, yes, we might not recognize it, but at the end of the day, they are in charge. This is their territory. Now you need to go tell them that, guys, we are tired of you. You guys need to go, and you need to go now, so that they can get the message loud and clear. Like right now, they can't answer anything that we are saying because we speak in corridors. We don't approach the enemy direct. One of the things that I wanted in and I hope that it can be reached in the Yes Movement is to have soldiers who are not afraid. We need to take the battle in the boardroom peacefully and walking towards that office in the union bill, demand to see that man. And we need to write him letters, do each and everything, challenge him in media, call him for the meeting, the peaceful negotiations, peaceful talk. If in that meeting he's confident that this arrangement where we are right now, the people of South Africa is the arrangement that they want, and they are happy with this arrangement. To me, then it will be, then let's allow the people to speak, because your constitution you are subscribing to, it says the people shall govern. Now let's allow the people to govern and choose their own government. And we have to already have the memorandum out there, inform the people, tell the people how their system is going to work. Like I faced quite a number of questions at some point, and I find my way to move out to maneuver around those questions. I don't know how, but by the grace of God, I always maneuver. The first thing is feed the people, give them the information, allow them to have a choice. Right now, we're focusing on mainstream media's little things so that they can start recognizing your views. Like the media, the mainstream media right now, it is so biased that it even has favor. They even put itself under a clear picture that they actually taking one side. They don't care about the other side, which is the side of the people. Because if you have 40 million people and 10 million people choose you out of 30 million, then you are a rejected thing. You must just sit there because you are only voted by 10 million people. You could not convince the majority to actually accept you. So I am simply saying the right of into all of us believing that when you are under the age of 21, I looked into our own referendum. I even said to BT, I'm gonna even call him just after this meeting, because I think it's on one of the emails that I sent him, that when we talk about emancipation on the elderly, it has where you add your saying those children who do not have their father or their mother cannot emancipate themselves, because it starts with 21 on our petition, and we are talking about the people. We are targeting the people. We need to make our petition to openness, that a parent who has the right over his child can still sign his child, because you'd find in one house you have 10 people who are living there who agree or share the same sentiment with you as a parent, or who still receive treatment or still receives feeding from you as a parent. And I believe that being a parent, you are a leader of your own home, so you are in charge. No one else has the right over that child beside you as the parent. Now, it is okay. I will give you the chance. Now, what we need to create is
Breaking up.
again.
Can't hear anything, General.
Pardon?
We
You're
can't
breaking
hear
up.
anything.
Yeah, it looks like my network is very bad this side. Are you able to hear me?
Now we
Yes.
can.
Okay. So what I'm simply saying is that the same right that you are carrying over your
You've disappeared again.
your head to life. Even your children right to life. They carry the same right to life, and they need to be given the opportunity to also exercise their right to life. And even if they can't sign the papers, if the child is, hello? If the child is under the age of 7 or a 7 who hasn't started in school, can't write his name, but some can. But the parent can still sign on behalf of that child, because the right of that child, it is in the head of the parent. But the details that we want on the referendum must be the detail of that citizen. Who is that child? So thank you. That is my view, guys.
I think who's first now, Grace or myself?
Yourself.
Okay, thank you, General. I want to ask one question. Will it be possible for you by chance to maybe get the transcripts of that court proceeding? Because I believe it will be very credible for you as well, and also for us to use it when we are approaching the police. Then the issue of the emancipation. I don't know how many members tonight are actually have done their emancipation or not, but it's imperative that when people are talking about common law and they actually want to, exercise their common law rights, they have to be emancipated. It's beside the point that we asked to sign the referendum. It is each and every man and woman's responsibility to ensure that they go through the process and actually emancipate themselves. Because it doesn't help. We have people here who still fall under the corporation, and when they get taken to task, they will say to the person, or sorry, to the man or woman, that you fall under the corporation, so therefore we don't recognize you as a living man and woman, because they will not accept that. So it is important that we deal with the matter in such a way that if the people need the documentation, I can't remember if I gave you the documentation, General, but if you need me to send it to you again, I will send it to you.
Oh, you did. My papers are right. I still have them, and yours are fine. Is the one that we are using. We just changed the little things there to suit us, because those ones that you've sent us were actually specifically for. I don't know what was the error that we end up fixing. But yes, we do have the papers even on our website. We've uploaded the papers that you can self-edit.
Okay, great stuff. Just overall, General. Okay. As I told you, I sent it to the Master of the High Court. I sent it to the SARS Commissioner. I sent it to the Finance Minister. Okay. Then I also sent it to the Minister of Home Affairs as well, because I had a meeting with a manager on Tuesday night after the disaster that we had there at Home Affairs, and I gave him the information as well regarding the issue regarding common law and the fact that the RSA is a corporation and it's not a sovereign national country. So I'm hoping that through Home Affairs also, I'm also trying to arrange a meeting with a local municipality, Mighty Bang. I have sent it to the mayor's secretary, a cease and desist order, and also requesting them to have a meeting with me so that I can address it with the councillors and the rest of the staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Like there's quite a lot. Toast, Grace.
Thank you very much. It is one thing to be a business person and make your money elsewhere outside the state. You buy and sell tomatoes, or you are a plumber, or whatever that you can do, providing a service, to make a living. And, when you are in that area, it's easy for you to practice common law and natural law. Now, let's look at a scenario where someone is employed by the state. They are receiving a salary from the state, and they've got their pensions for 20 odd years with the state. How do you then stop dealing with the state when you are working for the state? And another thing is, let us say you are having a business. How then do you juggle around the issues of tax when you have emancipated? Thank you very much.
Can I answer that, General?
Okay.
Okay. David Strait, sorry, I just want to answer Grace's because that's a very important statement she's made. If you work for the RSA Corporation, you're bound by the RSA's company rules, okay, irrespective of the circumstances. Although you can still emancipate yourself, you are still an employee by virtue of a contract that you signed with the corporation. That you can't get away with it. Otherwise, you have to resign from the corporation, the RSA Corporation. Somebody else must just confirm with me if I'm correct in my interpretation on this, because I got it from David. So that is basically the nutshell if you are working for the corporation. Just remember, it's like a McDonald's, a KFC, they have their pensions. It is part of the Provident Fund or it is part of the general insurance pensions. But just remember, you are a part of a corporation. You're not part of a sovereign public government. Thank you.
Yes. That is true. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes, that is true. Because remember, there's been quite a lot of questions in that regard, particularly coming from KZN government employees, more especially police and soldiers who are currently serving. And we were able to actually provide them with the answers. Let me tell you a little scenario for just 2 seconds. Just a little scenario of something that many of you do not know. Are you aware that soldiers in this country and everywhere in the world, they are self-governed? They have their own laws, rules, regulations, driver's license, pilot license, everything that soldiers, it is operating in the army that is independent. The only thing right now that they do not have is money, but they have every little system. That is why even lately, South African SANDF wanted to challenge the government when it comes to the issue of medication that was brought to South Africa. And they even went to an extent in corridors on a meeting that took place on Tuesday, that they even planning to establish their own independent regulatory board that or that will work with on medication and all these other things, because they do not want anything to do with what South Africa is actually providing. They actually trust everything that Cuba is giving them. That is why they are so bold to even give 50 million to Cuba. Were you aware of that? That independence of military, that means military is sovereign. When you are working for the army, papers are not going to be the same at the end of the day. When you work for the army, you have two citizenship. It's the army and the RSA incorporation. Were you aware?
No.
Well, I am aware, I'm very much aware that even the military can do their own business and even, negotiate with the state, and have a contract with the state to service them or procure services from elsewhere, whether it's with a foreign company or a foreign government. I am aware that they do.
So they are emancipated. The government. I will provide you, Uncle Brother Elias, with the original agreement between the government and the RSA, the army, so that the people can understand that what is happening in the army is exactly what we are doing. We want to run our own, even if it goes to an extent that we do not win, we do not give up. We'll still exist because our rights are existing. It's like having this tribe and this tribe. Now it will be that government and that one. We'll have to start setting up our own administration, like it or not, so that our people, when they are brought before those courts, this is what I want to bring you back to, all of you. When our people are charged in those courts, we will ask them to be referred. We must have active people who are actually the people's representatives, who will have to appear. Like I have said to myself, it is time that as the Yes Movement, we must be more active to even put people who are able to go and help interpretation of emancipation to our courts. When our people are detained, we will approach the court and our client will just have to sit down and keep quiet. We will fight for the right. The only thing that we'll need is to produce that this person belongs to our republic or belongs to is emancipated, he belongs to the Batswana tribe, Bavenda, Bure Fox, or Bapedi, or whatsoever. So the court of the RSA Incorporation has no jurisdiction over the person's head. We must start instilling that education and make it compulsory that our people understand why, what we want, and how do we want it to be done. Does it make sense what I am thinking we should be doing?
Yes, it does make sense. Just remember, you said a very important point, and I think Grace said the same thing now. Remember, they are a private corporation. They are not a sovereign instituted organization. Remember, based on the research I've done, we the people are the militia. We the ones making sure that people do not step out of bounds or behave in a manner that is in violation of our unalienable rights, including in conjunction with the Universal Declarations of Human Rights. The biggest problem at the moment is people are fearful of losing their grants because, General, that's another point we must remember now. There are people who are asking the question, if I remove myself from the RSA Corporation, am I going to lose the privileges and benefits? Yes, you are. That plays a big role in the destruction of the ability for every man and woman to remove themselves. If they bound themselves to those benefits and privileges, we can do nothing for them at this point in time. They must make that decision. What's more important, a 350 Rand every month or my freedom and my children's freedom and their future? Thank you.
Very important. Very important. I think we're not going to even reach the topics. I think this took everything that we were supposed to talk. Let's all agree that we have 4 minutes, or put whatever the words that we can, put them together, and then have a little seconds, 1 second each, to say something, or to 1 minute, 1 minute, or 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Let's start. Anyone who wants to say something?
Okay, I will start.
My apology, General.
My hands off. Sorry, somebody must take my hand off, please.
Elias, yeah.
Okay, so
All right.
This meeting, I give up on Mr. the last one.
Elias.
Oh, I'm a bit bucket item.
General, before Elias comes in, right? The invitation said 2 hours. So basically, we are still on time until 9 p.m. I don't know.
No, Chief. I'm coming from a battle today. I'm coming from a battle that my back, my neck, I am exhausted. And tomorrow I have to make runarounds in the farm, fixing the fences, doing the home chores, Chief. Sorry, but let's keep it short. Can you proceed, Elias, Mr. Elias?
Okay, thank you, Chief. I think the main message must be to every man and woman. You have to read the books. You have to read the material that is required for you to educate yourself, because as the General has made mention now, is that we would like to have people at these courts so that we can assist them in making sure that they have the right wording. But people are lazy to read, okay? But it's not acceptable anymore. You are playing with your life. You are playing with your children's life, and there are no more excuses for not to educate yourself, because ultimately that will save the generation that's coming to take over and look after the future generation. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Next. Princess. Rihanna. I'm going to call you by name. If you do not say anything, I will move, and then I will, at 8 o'clock, I will then declare this meeting officially closed. This is not a meeting, by the way. It was a point viewpoint. We have to talk, all of us. We're not here to listen. We're here to engage each other. Detroit?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just
Is
joined
there
in
anyone
the
who wants to say anything? 1 minute left.
Can I come in? Yeah, you know what? Talking about people who are not participating, I think if ever we can add an element of the economy, you know, that we start an economy wherein people can be able to buy and sell to each other. Somehow, you know, it can make people to want to participate in the emancipation process. Yeah, thank you very much.
Tumelo?
Yeah, thank you, General. You know, for the information that you give us regarding the court and stuff. Thank you for that braveness of yours. That shows us we mustn't be brave, and we must challenge some of the things that you know we need to challenge, and we mustn't speak on the corridors or behind the closed doors. We have to today, and yeah, keep going.
Thank you, sir. After now, I will then, yes, I will then consider that we are all have understood and have learned a little that we are going to develop love to become ambassadors of the United People's Front. Moving forward, we must share the idea and make our children, our great-grandchildren, and those next door to understand the power of an emancipated person. I will call it a night. This recording is going to be available. Mia, I want to close. You can speak.
Okay, thank you, General, for sharing your story with us. It was actually very inspiring. I think maybe as bad as it was that it happened today, it needed to happen because you can now show people how it actually can work. So that's great. And I think maybe the executives should get together and start seeing who can help the people who want to be emancipated work through the whole process step by step, so we can see who's got time to help and they can approach us one by one, because I'm sure a lot of people are scared to do it on their own. So I'll chat to the executives and we can sort out who can help with that. Thank you so much, General. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And having spoken, Mia, I will then be saying to your words, thanks a lot for sharing your view, and your view is very important. And then thanks for reminding me that on Sunday we're going to hold a Zoom webinar on organic product. So you need to inform your fellow people who love organic products like us to prepare themselves, as we will be then teaching them on how to plant, how to do that, and invite that guy from the green side to join us on the webinar. I think I wanted to make it Sunday, but we can still speak about it. If it's a short notice, then we can schedule it for Tuesday, because everyone has been bothered by ESCOM recently. Then we can have a nice talk. That is why even BT couldn't be here, because he had to attend to the issue that there's no electricity. So everyone, you're welcome and good night, and please
rest well.
You must dream about me.
Yes,
don't dream
General,
about any other person, particularly Kat and Mia and Lillian and Elias and Grace and all of you. Please dream about me.
Sleep well.
General, we're going to dream about you tonight. You're our hero.
You know, you need to picture us as the leaders who are in the foundation of this beautiful movement called the United People's Front, and its own dogs. You know, they're calling us the barking dogs, and we bark very loud. we can move South Africa to the next level of its own original format, not the state that is led by Ramaphosa. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Evening.
Good night.
All right, thank you very much.
God bless you.